How you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show, and this is my Grundig Satellite 800, and today we're doing a little experimenting with the aircraft band and the scanning function. Now, first of all, I will remind you that my opinion, for whatever that's worth, not much, that shortwave radios, AM, FM, shortwave airband radios do not make good scanners. They don't do the job adequately. And this radio is no different. Matter of fact, it even might be a little worse than some other ones. Okay, first of all, the scan function on this radio, and it will work on any band, I believe, is strictly just a scan, stop for so many seconds, go on, scan, stop. It doesn't have any options that when it finds a signal that it stays there. It just goes on. So right there, the scan function on this radio, not very useful. Scan function on shortwave bands is pretty useless too, because you normally on your shortwave bands you've got this noise level, and unless you're listening for or trying to find a very strong station above that noise level, the scan function is just not going to work. On FM band that might work, but why would you ever use it? On the air band, it will work. And if you have a scanner, even a cheap scanner, even a used $20 Bearcat scanner, will do a good job of scanning on the airband, along with the other bands. But the shortwave radios just don't do a good job. And here's an example. I'll turn the volume back up. And I'm on the airbands. What I did is you program in memory a set of frequencies. You can program up to a bank, which is 10 frequencies, and there's 7 banks. That's where the 70 memory locations come from. So you program in a bank, and it will scan that one bank, and that's all it will scan. And you can, if you've programmed a bank so that you can scan through it manually, and you want to do an automatic scan, you can say skip one of the channels if you want to. You just designate it as a skip channel, and when it does its automatic scanning, it won't stop on it. For instance, you could have, in the airband, you could have a frequency that constantly is providing weather conditions. So that means it was going to stop on it every time. Well, it really doesn't matter on this radio because it stops on every channel every time. Sits there for about 3 to 5 seconds and moves on. So anyway, let's go on. So I've programmed about, let's see, five frequencies at memory location 60 to 65. So that 60 is the start of a band. And it's now scanning those, but like I say, it doesn't stop. So if there's traffic going on and it lasts more than a few seconds, too bad. It's going to move on to the next channel, and you're not going to hear that. Now you can also, of course, you can stop the scanning if you hear something. So it kind of works somewhat in that it can be scanning and scanning and scanning, and then finally you hear something you like, you can reach over and stop it and then listen to it. And then it won't scan anymore until you hit scan again. So that's how it works. So right now it's scanning, and it's scanning some of the frequencies from the local airports. We have one here in Clearwater that's it's about line of sight 2 miles from me, but it's just a little tiny private airport. Doesn't really have a control tower or anything like that. So you would just hear aircraft check in so that other aircraft can hear that they're in the area. That's all it's for. There's another one south of me, St. Pete. It's another very small airport. I think 2 or 3 major airlines use that airport. That's about it. Well, I say major, they're really minor airlines. Then there's one further south, which is another private airport, very small. Does have a control tower, but their signals are not very strong. And then across the bay, which is about 20 miles, maybe line of sight, is the big Tampa International. And that's where I would get all the traffic from. Now, this radio has a squelch that's used on the airband only. And it's kind of iffy. And I'll turn the volume up so you can hear what I'm saying. Okay, now again, it's doing the manual scan or automatic scan with the 3 or 4 second wait on a given channel. And I don't know if you can actually be able to hear what I'm talking about. Well, what happens is the squelch is not a good off-on squelch. If you get a signal that's kind of iffy for the squelch level, you hear this kind of breaking in and out. So it's a bit annoying, to say the least. See, you got I don't know if you caught that or not. There was a pop. Why, I don't know. And I don't know.
Wherever's convenient for you.
Okay, that was Tampa International, big airport, powerful transmitter over there, so we can hear that easily here in Clearwater. You could also see the S meter here jump up when it goes to a given frequency, which probably means there might be a signal there. It's just that the squelch is not letting it come in. Now I'll adjust the squelch to
approach TRRS November 8270. Let's go ahead and squawk VFR, please.
Okay, that was about an S5 on the meter. So I'm going to open and squelch a little bit. Okay. That's what you get when it's kind of in between. Now I'm going to open it all the way this time. Okay, so that's what you would normally hear without a squelch. Very annoying. So you really when you're listening to the VHF band and UHF band, typically on your scanner you will use a squelch. So that's why they provided the squelch. So I'm going to turn it back up here, try to silence it. Okay, well, it's right on the hairy edge now. And you hear it? Sounds like a Geiger counter. It's right on that edge. So I don't know if that's typical of this radio or just, maybe there's an adjustment internally that needs to be tweaked a little bit, but that gate that lets the audio through is not very distinctive. Okay, let's go to, I'll see if I can get out of this mode. Scan again, there we go. And I'll go down, oops, went too far. Let's go down to 60, which is a Tampa. See, I'm right on the edge. So let me turn the squelch up some more. There, that goes away. Luckily, that station I'm on right now, which is Tampa International Tower, they're a very strong station, so I can turn the squelch up pretty high and get rid of that Geiger counter sound. Now, initially, when I was setting this up, I was using the built-in whip antenna. And I could barely get the stations except for Tampa. I could get Tampa because they're very strong, but the other ones I couldn't get. So I've hooked up an external antenna. It's not the best antenna in the world for this band, VHF band, air band, because it's a TV antenna is what it is. I don't have a cable in here that has my disc cone antenna, or one of my disc cone antennas, which would be best for this band. And you can see it's even at this frequency, which is, I believe, oh, that's the busy one. That particular frequency it's on now is Pinellas Airport, and they're not very big, not very busy. So let's go to Tampa, which would be 62. There we go. Yeah, turn the volume up. So they're coming in loud and clear. You can say very strong, about 20 miles from me. Not a big deal to receive them.
All right, we're looking for him. 6 Charlie.
And the squelch is working
Hello,
good.
Tampa Post Delta 1891, wind 15.5 for 13,000 over Tabor, and we got hotel.
Okay, now I'm going to try to get up without kicking the camera and switch to the built-in whip antenna.
Okay, down to 9,000. You said a left turn 130 forward to the east shoreline.
Okay, that's working fine on the whip
Oh, we
antenna.
got it. That's very clear. Turn.
Matter of fact, it sounds a little better on the whip antenna. Like I say, the outside antenna I'm
Okay,
using
we'll do. Set to 377.
is
Thank you.
is not the best one, but since it was outside,
75, JetBlue 350, bye.
since it was outside, I thought it might work a little better. Let me go to. Let me see. Let me try 64, channel 64. That is another small airport. I don't know if it's going to be that active. And do a little juggling act here. I wish the antenna switches were either on the side or the front. Okay, now I've switched to external. And they're probably just not that busy. I'll turn the squelch deck down. Now, that particular tower, it's not that busy. So that kind of gives you an idea of the aircraft band functions on this radio. Again, a handheld scanner radio, that you could pick up used for $20 or $30. It's going to do a much, much better job than this radio does. These shortwave radios that have the air band option, don't even think about it. It's just, yeah, it kind of works, but that's about it. Anyway, that's the show for this morning. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. Bye-bye.